Hello, I'm Connie Rotella, and welcome to our Triple Threat podcast. I'm super excited to begin this journey with all of you. Are you ready to put your best foot forward and show up with confidence? This tool is here to help you evolve into the artist you are meant to be. Just always remember to believe, become, and be ready. Add a new skill set or refine what you already know. So here we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Academy. I am here with Terra C Macleod. I'm in Montreal. She's actually in New York. She's a triple threat artist. She's a multidisciplinary artist. Thank you for being with us, Terra, and answering some of our questions.
Thank you, Connie.
First of all, Terra, what do you need to do to become a professional in the industry?
Well, it's like any industry, I say, in the sense that you have to have the training, you go to school for it, you train, you study it. And obviously, once you have gathered your toolbox of crafts and skill, you get out there and you pound the pavement and you start to audition. And that could range from trying to get an agent who can submit you to going to open dance calls to just going to every single audition you can, and just make yourself available for work. That's a really great place to start as a professional. People always say, well, should I be in the union? Should I get an agent? I just say, throw all the coals in the fire and see what lands. One of them is about, it will eventually take, so there's no exact route. There's several routes.
Exactly. And did you start as a dancer, actor, singer? How did you start off?
It was, it's very interesting because I was a ballet dancer. Then I transferred to it was crazy. I went into modern and jazz, and then I did acting classes and private voice classes. And literally by the time I went to John Abbott, I was 17 and I just wanted to do the theater intensive, but I still had my dance classes on the side. I still went to voice class on the side. So it's hard for me to say what came first. It was one of those things. Obviously I started dancing and that's always been my passion, but I loved the other disciplines as well. And I wanted to find a way to kind of collectively study them and join them together.
And you are living out of those three disciplines. And, you've played Velma in Chicago. I was lucky enough to come and see you on Broadway. You've done so many tours of different musicals. You've been on television. You taught in my studio at Dance 123 here in Montreal. And I love how you're guiding the dancers. And you just said that you come from a ballet background. And I remember after one class, you said, oh, I still do my classes. Mm-hmm. Now, explain to me the importance of a dancer's body, because it does change.
Yes.
How do you keep it in shape? How do you keep it strong? How can you do 8 shows a week?
Right. So I always say dance it is like you are an athlete. In fact, you are an athlete. And so the training that athletes go under and what they put themselves through is very similar. And sometimes I think, they parallel and mirror each other. So it's what you put in is what you will get out of it. But I'm continuously trying to refine and perfect and go deep into the techniques, especially when you're young. That's when your body and the muscle memory really starts to kick in. And you also are kind of like, a stallion. As you get older, especially if you're continuously, pursuing this line of work and you're auditioning and you're dancing in shows, your body eventually, no matter how one tries to avoid it, it does break down. It could be soft tissue breakdown to just wear and tear. And that's not a bad thing. That is just how you maintain.
And I think you remember saying, if I don't do ballet,
yeah, I'm still a big person on that. When all else fails, and a lot of times when dancers are injured and they have to go back to class, they will, ones I know, I can't speak for all dancers, obviously, but we'll always go back to a beginner ballet to just get back to your center, or a floor ballet, or something very basic, but very structured to realign and to re-educate your body and rehabilitate your body as well.
Yeah, and it's very important. And what I really like when you teach our students is the fact that you're educating them on the words you use, or on the description, or the style, because you've had the experience, because you yourself have taken master classes, real master classes.
Yeah. I mean, I take them in New York City. When Steps is offering all the classes with the Fosse legacy, I will go take from the masters and those that have been given the gift of teaching Fosse's work, because I continuously want to refine it. And, choreographers who work with artists and have choreographed their shows, in a way they've mastered this commercial style and this art form that go take from those teachers as well. It doesn't hurt to continue your studies. And I can't stress it enough, especially if one wants to have longevity, you have to have a really solid foundation. For me, I found that in ballet, and I think it really is an amazing, strong structural foundation for dance.
Exactly. Before I ask you that big question that everybody wants to know, how do I get on Broadway? Because a lot of people have that dream. How do you even balance working? Because before getting on Broadway, you know you have to be a triple threat and you have to be strong. How do you even balance to train and dance, acting, singing the same amount of hours? How does a person do it?
Well, it's in a way, it just goes, you only have so many hours in the day when you're at your, your peak. And I wish I could say, yeah, I could take 4 dance classes a day. No, I think the most I ever did was 3. And that was a lot. I mean, that was a lot of the time. You find a way because it's what you do. And you have your, your voice lessons, you do your scales, you just, you work on your voice and acting. You can get to, an acting class, or you'd be amazed how many hours there are in the week. And when you really want something, you manage, because you can still go to school, you can still raise a child, you can still do a show. There's all these things one can do. I think it's prioritizing and really putting what you want out there and making it happen. But it's a lot of work. It doesn't happen just because, oh, I want to do it. And no, it just doesn't.
It takes years. And so that answers kind of the question that everybody's dream is like, how do I even audition? How do I even get close to auditioning for a Broadway musical?
Well, it's a very personal journey. There is no one, I can't say this is the way, because everyone, you can audition for a show in Toronto that has a sister company in New York, and next thing you know, you've been transported. Or you audition for, you're working on a cruise ship, and the choreographer of that cruise ship also is choreographing the latest Broadway show, brings you to the call, boom, you work your, you don't know. So I'd hate to say there's only one way, but there's definitely a strategy. And when you have a wave, I tell people, ride it and really strategize and know the right people and be a team player and strong and present in the room and show your discipline and show your commitment. That speaks volumes, and people remember that. So it's one of those things, get to know people, talk to people. There's so many avenues, but obviously it starts with start auditioning, get out there. And it's not just Broadway. It's, if you get to do this in your lifetime as a profession, you are very lucky, and it's an amazing thing. And don't think, well, if it's not Broadway, I haven't made it. You make it when you make a paycheck doing what you love. That really is the reality.
Well,
And yet there's these pedigrees that we, of course, and these goals of absolutely, absolutely. But also know, pat yourself on the back too when you get that paycheck doing what you do as an artist. That's also just another stepping stone.
exactly. And in your case, what doors open for you to land the lead role in Chicago?
Well, the doors that opened were, obviously it has a gravitas and a pull to it to show, oh, well, leading lady on Broadway shows that one can carry a show. And then the longevity shows my commitment and team player. And, then they look at reviews, or, who knows what makes or breaks someone getting a job. I think it's allowed me to get into certain rooms, but I can't say, oh, because I have a Broadway show, people give me jobs. No, that doesn't happen.
Have to work and show them, right?
I think I've gotten jobs. There's been a few instances where I got a phone call. Hey, we're doing this gig. Would you like to come and play? Absolutely. Because I worked at that theater before, and they know me, and my work ethic, I'm sure, also plays a large part in that as well.
Exactly.
But no, it's not this, I at Broadway, the phones don't stop ringing. Yeah, no, that's not.
So there you go. She still keeps working,
Always.
even if she's Velma and she's played Velma on Chicago and other, obviously, musicals.
Yeah.
What do people need to bring at an audition?
Well, you have to be prepared. I always say be prepared. The only things with sometimes, most of the time with dance auditions, you're not at, you don't know what the choreography is going to be. So if you're one of those dancers who has a hard time picking up choreography, you have to get that under your tool belt. You really do, because a lot of times you walk in these rooms and you're a bunch of people and you might not have all the space, and they break you out in groups. And, you might have a choreographer who goes over it and over it. You might have someone who's like, you should know it by now. So that was one thing I know for myself. I knew when the trajectory of what I was trying to attain, I was in class to pick up choreography. That is so important. And to also do what is asked of you. You have to be prepared. You cannot, it's not fair to those behind the table. It's not fair to anyone who shows up. You have to show up. And if you don't get the job, that's okay, because you can say, I was ready, I was prepared, I was present. But to show up just kind of no.
And it gives you an example. If you are showing up not ready, get back into your classes, get back into your training, find the teachers that are going to get you better and stronger to show up to your next audition.
Right. And I would also say to someone, if you're not ready, don't show up. If you're not going to leave an impression. It's one thing to not be the type, or they're just not what we're looking for, versus they weren't ready. They didn't come with their A game. No, it's so competitive. You need to be on it. You need to be ready. And whether you book the job or not is out of your control. But what is under your control is, yes, nerves come into play. And there's all kinds of things one can do to just kind of ease that. But when you know what you're doing, you have an intention, you have a focus, and you're there and you do it and you execute that.
Are you still nervous when you get on stage and do 8 shows a week?
Yeah, sometimes it depends. I wouldn't say nervous with something like Velma, because I just get so excited. But I get nervous if I know someone in the audience. If I know, nerves are more in auditions, to be honest. On stage, it feels like home to me. There's more of an excitement.
Yes.
But auditions, no, I literally can feel my heart, fluttering, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to walk in there and do this. And they know. I mean, it's so rare, even in big city New York, so rare I see a director who isn't with you. They get it. They will be so understanding if they know she's ready, she's just nervous, versus someone who walks in and is not ready.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a really, really good point.
I've walked in auditions and I'm like, I know this. It's a 20-page song. Is it okay if I have to stand? And 9 times out of 10, oh, Terra, of course. Now, is it because I've been in the business a long enough time that they might say, of course, we gave you 20 pages to learn in 24 hours. But if they gave me 24 pages in 4 days, no, I should be a book. You see, so I know, or like sometimes these auditions are like, here's 5 songs. I remember for Ava Perón, I had to learn all her material. And I had like a few days and I was like, this takes weeks. But, and I only ended up singing maybe a few bars of one of them. So it goes to show you always have to be prepared.
Yeah, you have to be prepared. And you had years of experience and training backing you up, because 5 songs, one song could take someone 3 months to learn and get in character and tell the story, So,
and it's important, it's important to know you're asking me these questions, which are great questions where I am today. But if I really do look back, I mean, I vividly remember my life from the age of 20 to 27, what that looked like and what I did. And I will tell you, I probably was in class 4 to 5 times a week. I had a private voice teacher. I was in acting class. I was pursuing agents at the time. There was no internet. And, I mean, that's very new that things are being submitted online. It's maybe in the last decade, maybe a little past that, but 20 years ago, it was a mail-in picture and resume. You mailed the VHS. I mean, it was all that stuff. I remember auditioning for a cruise ship, but I had to mail a VHS. Wow. And so quickly now things are uploaded. So I think an advantage that emerging artists have now is they have access to toolkits that can be in their own in their home, and they can just upload it.
Exactly.
But I always trained. I always did. And I really worked hard. I won't lie. I really did work hard.
Oh, I know you do. And I still see it when you do teach the kids. You're there, you're fully on, you give your all. And you're such a great role model, example. They all look up to you because you're doing something that they wish they can do. So like, you're living proof. So we're just inspired. What would you tell your younger kids?
Don't take it personally.
Oh, yes.
Continue to always be kind and a team player. And it's not all about you, but it is about you. So strike that balance.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself, honor the craft, and be kind to others, and then let it go. And don't make everything about you.
Mhm.
Just take care of you. It's really a very fine balance, but I find that brings balance in an industry that could seem very volatile, the highs and the lows.
The highs and the lows, the rejections and the bookings. There's a lot of everything, but honor your craft. You said it, and I'm like, wow, beautiful. Honor your craft. Also honor yourself. And you chose to do this, right? If you
Yeah.
choose to do this, you have to understand that a lot of things will come your way. There'll be obstacles, and there will be so many doors open at the same time. So you have to figure it out and play the business game. It's also a business, so you have to play that game.
And it's also like it's a business is in anything you do. I mean, it won't even be this. There's politics everywhere. There's always, there's hierarchy everywhere. There's if you're a good communicator, if you know how to speak to people, if you know how to engage, if you know how to just all these are all tools. Just that's why I say just be kind to people, easy to work with, be a team player, be creative. Yeah, because it is a business too. It's called show business. And that's a whole side.
Show business. It is, Terra.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Terra. I think you've answered all the questions that we need to know.